Hello guys and dolls, I'm here with Hannah Witton and today we're going to answer your sex and relationship questions. Yeah, I haven't done anything like this before, but her whole channel is about sex stuff and like feminism and stuff, so you guys should definitely like watch this little fecker.
Aww.
I like you a lot.
I like you too. I'm so glad you're back in Europe.
I know. So what we did earlier on Twitter is ask under a hashtag Ask Mel and Hannah. So there's a lot of questions and some of them are like very interesting, so I'm excited.
I've not looked at any of them yet.
We're drinking alcohol as well, by
Oh
the
yeah,
way.
because we're going to be filming a drunk advice for my channel after this, so
Yeah.
this is just the pre-drinking.
This is the pre-drinking too. There's just a night of advice. Let's get going.
How was your past relationships? Do you want to talk about that?
Oh wow, that's a bit of a loaded question. I'm a very relationship person. Well, I was
See, I'm not. I've been very single for the last 5 years.
very single as opposed to single. First long-term relationship was quite abusive on both sides. I was really not like equipped to deal with a relationship and I was terrible. I was very jealous. There was a lot of manipulation and stuff like that in that relationship.
Emotional abuse.
Emotional and like borderline physical sometimes. Like we would
okay.
like slap each other and stuff
wow.
like that. Not good, like really not good. And that put me off wanting another relationship until I met my last long-term ex, and that was a really good relationship. We were together for 6 years, but there was like fundamental differences where I just kind of knew that we'd grown apart and I knew I couldn't spend my life with him, so I kind of had to leave it. And a lot of like my viewers were like, where did he go?
Quit.
You have to, like, if you don't feel like something is kind of working for you anymore, you have to love yourself enough to not stay in a relationship that's gonna like damage you.
I quit my last relationship just because I was 19 and moved to France and didn't miss him and fell out of love.
So I realized recently that like not all relationships have to be like super long and not all loves have to be really long to like count. You know what I mean?
I've got so many people in the last 5 years who, even though they were never an official partner or we maybe didn't even know each other that long, they really stayed with me and they're really
Connected with
important, yeah. And those relationships that I had with them, whether they were like a holiday romance or we dated for a couple months, like they count.
Yeah,
like emotionally,
they really count.
yeah.
And they like build you as well. Like I've just had a couple since. Was that thunder? I've had a couple since my last long-term relationship, and like I would not undo either of them, even though they weren't like the one. They were both really important to me and really fun as well. So kind of at that point now where I'm like dating and it's
I
cool.
have this whole thing about like, I feel like a lot of people think that all the people that you date are just like intermediary and just a step along the way until you find the one. And it's like, no, each one is just important in its own right. They're not like a means to an end.
Yeah, so
each
true.
relationship that you have, whatever the significance of it, is an end in itself. So you can get your end in.
It's just this whole romantic notion that you just meet this one person and be with them for the rest of your life.
And
like
everything else was leading up to that.
Yeah, and everything else didn't matter. That's not the way it should be. And it's amazing if you did meet someone when you were like 16 and you're still with them, of course.
That's insane. I don't understand. I don't understand those people. Like, fair enough, not judging you. I just don't understand it. I can't.
Some of these are so stupid. Okay, so Abby asked us, what are some relationship deal breakers for you both?
Okay, smoker.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can't.
I think different political views.
Yes, seriously, like the
like
big,
that's so fundamental to
your
me.
values and your big views, like world views and stuff like that. You clash so much if you disagree that the fights are just not worth it. For me, like a lack of communication is like my biggest one. If I'm always trying to like guess how they're
trying
feeling
to tease it out of them, like you just want them to like
be able to open up and talk and stuff.
I don't know if this is 100% a deal breaker, but it might be something that I struggle with at first and have to work on.
Beards.
Okay, that's a deal breaker. Mine is if they don't drink alcohol. Like, that's,
I get it.
See, that's an interesting one for me because I drink not a lot. Like, I love going out for a drink or like having a glass with food. So it's like a part of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think that that's always a fun thing to do with a partner.
It really is. Bad sex is like a deal breaker, obviously, for both of us.
But I feel like if the first time you have sex is bad, that's not a deal breaker because that's
you're getting to know each other.
Exactly. That's like, you were also bad. Like, you were both bad. I don't think, you might disagree, but I don't think that you can be an individual who's bad at sex, because
No.
there are two people involved.
Yeah.
At least two people
If
involved.
the sex between you is bad.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Some people, someone might be like amazing to them, and then for others, they just might do things that won't do it for you. Like some people don't like when other people go down on them, or some people don't like when someone talks during sex. I'm very vocal.
Wait, hold on.
Dirty
that's,
talk.
That's a deal breaker for me if they won't go down on me.
Yeah, me too. It's like, come on. Just see, I love like, you know, dirty talk and stuff. So for me, someone who's very quiet or submissive isn't someone I could see myself being with long term. So yeah, there's a lot. Leave your like deal breakers in a comment. We have an interesting one here from Tomo, who asks any advice on anal sex and how to make it easier in terms of prep. So prep for anal sex.
Prep for anal.
I've never prepped for anal. It just kind of happens in the moment.
You're just like, oh,
Wrong hole. I enjoy anal sex. I find it.
I remember you talking to me about it a lot.
Yeah, I did. Oh God, I did.
I will say this because I feel like Mel needed to learn a lesson or two.
Mm.
But you can still get STIs through anal sex, and you should wear a condom.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But I told you that.
You told me, and now I know. When I was younger, with my first boyfriend, we experimented so much. So the first few times I did that, we used lubricant. Like, we bought lube, and we used lube.
Always good, because your butt's not going to produce natural lubricant.
However, from there on, anytime I've done it has been very much like in the moment decision. So usually you can use saliva, or you can use some of the moisture from the vajayjay, and like.
But also be careful of putting it in an arse and then in a vajayjay.
Back and forward.
Don't go back and forward. Okay, can a trinogamous relationship work? I'm assuming that means 3 people.
3 people. Okay, so
Like
that's
a 3-way relationship.
That's a form of polyamory then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Vicky Cristina Barcelona. Have you seen that film?
No.
There's a 3-way relationship in it.
Wow.
With Scarlett Johansson, Penelope Cruz, and a sexy Spanish
Oh,
man.
wow. Oh!
It's so good. I'm like, oh my God.
I have to say that is like my ideal situation. I feel like I've had a lot of inner conflict about being bisexual, and I've talked to a lot of other bisexual people recently, because it's only like in the last year I've really like explored that. And to me, I feel like right now I would love to have like a boyfriend and a girlfriend. And the last guy I was dating, we did have like a girl that we would see.
Just because Mel is a bisexual who wants a boyfriend and a girlfriend, that
You
doesn't mean
don't-
like
yeah.
all bisexuals
Oh,
do.
no. A
And
lot of
it's-
bisexuals don't even like threesomes.
Yeah, and like it's because you're slightly polyamorous as well, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's more to do with that than her bisexuality. Let's just
clear that up.
before anyone's like, bisexuals are so greedy.
Yeah. Right. The first girl that I was with in a long time, you know who it is as well. I'll say this
Okay,
off camera.
yeah.
You know, yeah. So she kind of introduced me to the concept of polyamory. I had no idea that some people can't have their needs met by the one person. So I kind of have looked
being able
into
to
it a
love
lot.
like multiple people.
Yeah, you can have like feelings for multiple people, or some people it's just a more of a sexual thing. And I think I'm more romantically orientated toward men, but I'm more sexually orientated toward women. So it's a conflict for me. Having a 3-way relationship, I don't know how that would work. I think it can work, because I'm sure that a lot of people do it.
It can work. If it's not just you having 2 separate partners, but like the other 2 people are also
in the relationship.
It's all 3 of you are
That would
in
be
the
amazing.
relationship.
Imagine cuddling in a big pile at nighttime. Like
but it's the fact that like, you know, sometimes you'll all be doing stuff together, other times it'll just be the two of you, or and then
jealousy
another 2.
might arise sometimes
Yeah.
if like one person is more close to the other person, or like one person is an outsider in the relationship, and it's like a core relationship, and then there's the third person who's like that might be hard.
One of my friends who's polyamorous, she doesn't do actual relationships. She enjoys being the third person and joining in other people's relationships. So she really likes dating couples.
Okay.
That's her thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Thoughts on why female masturbation is considered taboo?
must
Growing up for me, I definitely like was repulsed by it.
Were you?
Yeah.
I was doing it since I was like 12.
I'm so jealous. Like, I feel like I wasted so many years. Like, since I discovered it and, like, since I had my first orgasm, like, on my own.
What age were you?
20. I know! I wasted so many years!
I have 7 years of orgasms on you.
I hate you. I definitely was very susceptible to a lot of the messages I was receiving about female sexuality and masturbation. But it shouldn't be taboo because it's so great.
Oh, it's the best thing ever. Every day, I'm ridiculous. I feel like anything that comes naturally to a human should not be taboo. Like, it's just, everyone does it.
Also, it's like got so many health benefits. It feels really good. And actually,
really good for you.
being able to come on my own helped me be able to come with partners.
Yeah, it's the
100%.
only way I've ever come with partners is knowing my own body and then being able to kind of instruct them on what to do. And don't feel bad.
Which doesn't mean it's unsexy.
Yeah, it's not unsexy at all.
Like-
They love it. People love being with someone who knows what they like and they know how to pleasure themselves. They know how to receive pleasure. That's such a turn on.
Also, don't feel weird if you take longer to come with a partner than you do on your own.
Yeah.
That is very normal, especially for women. I'm not sure about dudes. Like that on my own. But with another person,
it's so
takes
much
a
harder.
while.
Because they have to keep the same rhythm. And if they...
It's a rhythm! Oh my god, it's all about the rhythm. Like when they change, I'm like, why did you doing that? Keep going! But it's actually that reaction is happening in your head. You're like screaming, like
and you get I physically get frustrated though. I'm there like with the leg up, and I'm like, you can just tell by like my whole body language is like, get off me now. So Alex asked, what's your view on open relationships and long distance relationship, and both together? Okay, I just want to chime in first. Long distance relationships, I just can't. I'm very tactile and I need the person to be there. But I know a lot of people who have had great success with them through Skype calls and, you know, very frequent contact, sending each other letters, sending each other dirty pictures and stuff, you know.
My last relationship, the big one, ended because I moved to France and I fell out of love. So clearly I'm not great at them. But maybe I'm different like 5 years on.
It's really difficult for me. Like there's a barrier as well. Even like I came back from LA and the last person I was dating was in LA, and then even just in the small space of time that I was gone, problems arose. So that's just, I feel like for me it's not gonna work. But I think always try something. If you think the person is worth trying for, like, do it. But open relationships, I'm like all for them.
I'm for them in theory. This is for myself.
Oh yeah, tell me, I want to know.
Like, in my head I'm like, that would be really good, I think I would enjoy that. But in practice I'm very much like, when I'm into someone, I don't really think about anyone else. So like, what if I got in a relationship at home and then I go somewhere and there's a person there who I'm really good friends with and we sometimes hook up? Am I allowed just to hook up with them, or or do I not? Like, I think for me, from experience and stuff with open relationships, it so comes down to like communication. Yeah.
Because you need to clarify
set the boundaries.
And every open couple like does that themselves. But I've had trouble in the last couple of times really doing that, like actually figuring out where the boundary is. It's a blurry thing, and it puts off a lot of people. And also, like, I find that guys love it in theory as well, but then jealousy can arise then if they feel inadequate that you're pleased by another person and stuff, you know. And obviously like that can happen with me as well. Like I've had little issues.
Like one of my friends, he dates a lot of people and he's in like open relationships with all of them, and I asked him like, would you want to know about the other guys that the girls you're seeing are seeing? And he was like, no. He like
doesn't want to know.
And that's the boundaries that he has. It's like, don't tell me.
That might work better for me the next time, I think, because sometimes like the whole hoo-ha of having the conversation every time is just like too much. Like it almost takes away from your time with the person, you know. And when I get into someone as well like you, I get so into them, but I find that like I'm around so many people all the time that are like so like attractive and confident and young and stuff, and I get connections.
I don't want to limit myself.
And it's also like I had that repression of my bisexuality for so long that I don't want to like not have experiences before I settle down. And I would love to settle down with somebody who understood my needs exactly, and I'm still learning them. I don't know exactly what my needs are yet because I'm still young, and it's okay to not know that. So just practice it, go do it and see how it goes.
I think that's a great place to end this video.
It is. So now we're gonna go film drunk advice because we're a little bit drunk.
I need to pour myself another drink for that.
And I loved having you on my channel, so go over to Hannah's channel.
Also, if you're coming from my channel, subscribe to Melanie.
You better.
She's amazing. Even if it's just for the accent.
Bye!